Subhanallah, subhanallah. It is interesting to know that as Muslims, we are being praised by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in glorious Quran for a specific trait, or should I say a unique trait that we possess. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran 3 verse 110, كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس. You are the best of nation produced as an example for mankind. And like I said, Allah mentioned the trait that we have, that we possess. تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر. You enjoin what is right and forbid what is wrong. وتؤمنون بالله. And then you believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is the trait that we possess that is unique to us. And subhanallah, I was watching this video on YouTube and then I saw this thumbnail, this video that has this thumbnail posted by brother Muhammad Hijab, and it reads, Bishop hangs himself, talking about Bishop Marmari finishes himself. And then I was like, subhanallah. In fact, I got more convinced when I saw the rope and I thought this man actually hung himself. I had to stop the video I was watching just to see what really happened. And after clicking this video and it got started, I realized that it wasn't actually what was in the thumbnail. It's just a refutation to some of the claims made by Marmari in the past. And I was like, this is totally messed up. Although, do not get me wrong, the refutation is top notch. And subhanallah, you just have to give it to Muhammad Hijab. He has this quality of refuting, falsehood.
12 apostles, they hugged him every day. They walked with him. They lived with him. They documented everything that they saw. You want me to deny all this and believe in someone that came 6 centuries later?
So let's summarize his claim. Why believe in Jesus as a prophet instead of being God, when those who actually saw Jesus claim that he was God? Akhi Muhammad Hijab, what do you say to such a claim?
Based on his criterion, he would disqualify all of the New Testament writers essentially from this, because actually all New Testament writers have not been with Jesus. There's no evidence that Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John were disciples or anything of that nature. No biblical scholar worth his salt would actually even say that.
Right.
And then you've got someone like Paul, who's the author of 13 books of the New Testament, and his ministry was somewhere between, scholars say, 15 to 35 years after Jesus Christ. Once again, never met Jesus Christ. Most of the theological points that he's bringing forward is to do with his visions that he's seen and so on and so forth. So according to his criterion, actually he should not accept any of the biblical texts, because the biblical texts, many of them happened many, many years after, like John, maybe about 80 to 90 years after it was written. And that's the equivalent, for example.
Yep.
If I were to say, I don't have a grandfather that was, or a great-grandfather or a father that was in World War I, but I'm writing now in 2025 something about World War I as if I was an eyewitness account. Somewhere now, me and you started writing books on World War I as if they were eyewitness testimonies. The absurdity of believing a testimony that has come almost a century after the person and the events is the likeness of it, or the similitude of it is the same as if me and you started writing books on the First World War and we had not actually been part of the First World War. So that's the first thing I'd say.
And subhanallah, he did an amazing job, and I would advise people to go watch the refutation. However, I switched to the comment section and I saw that, subhanallah, and this really gladdens my heart, Muslims were busy calling Muhammad Hijab out for the misleading thumbnail he posted. And they were calling him to account and were like, you just have to change the thumbnail. This is not how we as Muslims should spread da'wah. And I'm going to be reading some of these comments, in fact a lot of them, inshallah, so you can get to see the reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala praised us in the glorious Quran for these two specific traits. We enjoin what is good and we forbid what is wrong. So this is wrong and we are trying to forbid one another from that which is wrong. This one says, to be honest, I don't appreciate the clickbait. It's disingenuous and makes me feel less like a student and more like a number. Hope you understand. This one says, please change the thumbnail. Akhi, don't spread misinformation. People might believe he actually hung himself, just like I did. I thought he actually hung himself, maybe out of depression or something. This one says, change the thumbnail. This one also says, please do away with the clickbait title for this video. The goal of inviting people to our beautiful religion should not use misleading means. Subhanallah. The guy is absolutely right. This one says, Assalamu alaikum brother, refrain from typing this sort of thumbnails. It will only push the non-Muslims away from us, and you are a representative of da'wah for the Muslims community. We want them to see us as examples of exemplary human behavior. Barakallahu feekum. Exactly what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. We are the best of nations as an example for mankind, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stated the reason why. This one says, I like how all of us Muslims are saying something about the thumbnail and not being quiet. We are not a cult. We hold each other accountable. This one says, refuting falsehood puts false thumbnail, which is of course, the truth. This one says bad thumbnail makes it seem like he actually killed himself. This one says, bro, I actually thought he hung himself. This is messed up. Actually, it is messed up. This one says, brother, all good and all, but what is that thumbnail? Why are we lying now? It's Ramadan too. This one says, wallahi, I love you guys, but please stop the clickbait. It's wrong. This one says, it's great to see that people in comments are condemning the clickbait. We as Muslims should never condone any form of falsehood, subhanallah, even if it's done to spread awareness. I really love this comment because it reminds me of what Paul says. Paul said in Romans 3 verse 7, if my falsehood accentuates God's truthfulness to the increase of his glory, why am I still condemned as a sinner? In essence, this is saying, Paul is saying that even if he lies to promote the truthfulness of God, why would he be condemned as a sinner? So we believe as Muslims that this thumbnail is misleading, but then you're trying to drive people to click the video and watch the truthfulness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But then as Muslims, we believe that the means is also important. If the means is misleading, then what are you actually inviting people to? Subhanallah, I really love this comment. This one says, Akhi, please don't make un-Islamic distasteful thumbnails. This video might get reported, so please change it. This one says, brother, what is this thumbnail? I actually believed it. Yes, I do too. I actually believe the thumbnail, especially coming from Muhammad Hijab. So, and this gets to show that we do not really care who the person behind any account is or who the person himself is. Subhanallah, we only care about the truth. This one says, wow, the comment section is such a blessing. Love you guys for caring for Muhammad Hijab. I did not initially care about the thumbnail at first, but you guys are so sweet and with valid point, I believe. This one says, I really thought he died. Do you guys have to do that? Asking, brother Muhammad Hijab, do you really have to do that? This one says, I don't care about what that Christian says, but I saw the thumbnail and I thought he ended himself. So remove the clickbait and falsehood. We Muslims do not need that. Okay, this one says the thumbnail and title are shameful. This one says we Muslims should not do this type of offense to anybody. We are Muslims. This one says Muhammad Hijab, you don't need clickbait for views. You are very well established now. Stop this nonsense, please. Clickbait can have hidden consequences on disbelievers who are flaky in the first place and will point out any qualms with Muslims. This one says, this thumbnail is both misleading and absolutely disgusting. As a modern ambassador of the religion, you should know better. Subhanallah. This gets to show you that the reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala praised us is because this is innate in us. It is nature to us to correct one another and to invite one another to the truth. Okay, this is Muhammad Hijab. He's one of the top tier Dawah brothers, on the internet. Subhanallah, from the comment section, you would get to understand that as Muslims, we do not really care who you are. We only care about the truth and the means to arriving at the truth. And this is one, good thing for us Muslims. We do not sugarcoat the religion for people to rush in. Because at the end of the day, they would also rush out just the way they came in. Having these high expectations and then seeing nothing. It's best you get to tell people, okay, this is what the religion is, this is what it entails, and this is what is expected of you to do. If the person so wish, he would accept it. If the person so wish, he would reject it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيُؤْمِنْ وَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيَكْفُرْ. Whosoever wishes, let him accept, let him have iman, and whosoever wishes, let him disbelieve. So this is the deen for you, and this is Muslims for you. With this I say assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I remain your brother Abdul. Catch you in the next one.